It's more of a holistic environment. So away from public places, away from bedrooms, away from things like that where doors can be slammed and scenes can be done. So rather have it in an open area, preferably in a natural environment somewhere. So when there is a picnic planned or when there is an outing planned, that's a good time to do it. Don't do it if your parents have planned a whole event and you're going to go to the fun fair or something. And then before you get into the fun fair, this is where you tell them. You'll spoil everybody's day. Because there's going to be a scene. This we know. This you must expect. Not everyone's going to go, oh, wonderful, good news. I'm so glad you've decided to reject Jesus as God. No, they're going to be happy with that. They're going to be very upset. So you must be prepared that the environment must be in an open place, preferably, place for you to get away from being grabbed. No objects around and no small spaces. So when you sit down and you speak to them or you're out in the open and you talk to them, understand that you're going to have to do this in a very gentle, very clear way. You must know where you are going. The important thing, a reason why I say you need to have created a bit of time. If you have been a Muslim for a year, for example, and then you decide to tell your family, which is what I prefer people to do. Even my reverts in South Africa, those people who do classes with me, I normally do classes with them for up to a year. There are film stars, there are sports people, there are well-known celebrities that have reverted over a year ago already, and nobody knows yet. It's not in the newspapers, not in the magazines. They reverted over a year ago. And they will come out when they're ready to tell everybody. And I did classes with them either online or personally, and I told them not to say anything until they've got to a certain period in their growth. Then they can tell people. Why do we do it this way? We do it this way so that when they tell everybody that they've been a Muslim for a year already, people go, but you haven't changed. I mean, for the worse. You're still the same person, just maybe better. And they go, that makes sense. Now we know why he didn't act in that movie. Now we know why his t-shirt doesn't have that logo on it. It all makes sense to them. And instead of them being something negative, it turns into something positive. Maybe your mother and your father, they've watched you over the last year become a better daughter, a better son, a more trustworthy and reliable friend. And then when you tell them, they go, that was the improvement. We knew it was something, but we didn't know what it was. We didn't want to say anything because we didn't want to jinx it. That's what most people will say. We didn't want to mention that there was a better improvement in you because you didn't want to make you change and become who you were before. So this is the benefit of taking your time to tell them. So they see a benefit in you becoming a Muslim, and less likely that they're going to have a negative response. But sometimes you can still have the negative response. You still have people saying, oh, what has happened? My son, my daughter. Especially if you come from a very religious background. But generally speaking, it'll still help you when you say, but did you see me get worse? You saw me a better person, not a worse person. And so it will help your argument. When it is possible, try not into comparative religion with your family or your friends. Don't say to them, yeah, but the Bible this and the Old Testament that and the Vedas this and the Sharia, the Sharia this and the Sharia that. Don't do that. Because you have just told them about your reversion. You don't want to go into attack mode. That can be done with the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You have now telling them about your decision to embrace Islam, not to attack what they hold true. So this is a time for a peace treaty at this time. Even the early Muslims and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ knew how to prepare wars properly. They didn't go blindly and go, all right, let's just go attack. Let's just hope this is going to work out. No, there was strategy, there was planning. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ took advice from the people, even if sometimes he followed it, sometimes he didn't. He took advice from the people. So we need to make sure that we do the same thing. When we go through, take it slowly. Say, this is my step. I became a Muslim. I've been practicing Islam for the last year. I know that you find it difficult to accept. They ask you why. You say, because I like the simplicity of Islam. And as the years go by, or as the weeks go by, the months go by, then you can start using comparative sciences. But don't go day one with that. That's just going to make them more upset with you. So we're asking that in the same way as Islam was given to you in stages and steps, and you accepted it in stages and steps, so you must give the dawah to your family and your friends and those colleagues of yours at work in stages and in steps. Let them see something different in you. And remember, now that you're a Muslim, they are waiting for every single opportunity for you to do something wrong to say, ha, see, because you became a Muslim. Ha, that's why, because you became a Muslim. So they're waiting for you to fail. So you have to lift it up a notch. You have to be better than you ever were before. You're required to be a better person than you ever were before. It can be difficult. It can be hard. It's not fair, I know. Some of you might be saying, but it's not fair. It's not fair, I know. It's just the way it is. You chose Islam. Allah chose you. It's now time for you to be a best Muslim. Not a good Muslim, not a better Muslim, the best you can be. And your best will never be good enough because every year it'll get better than last year, inshallah. So keep going forward and make sure that you have the support structure if possible. They're going to say to you, you're going to go to hell, my daughter. You're going to go to hell, my son, because you became a Muslim. This is your opportunity to explain Tawheed to them. So we're doing slow dawah, slow work with them when you revert to Islam. Don't give them everything in one day. Don't give them lots of books to read. Remember, the same way as you came to Islam, they're going to have to learn to accept it in the same way. So nothing was forced on you, you learned it from stage to stage. Make sure that you explain to them the most important things. Who is Allah? First important thing. You can get to prophethood, you can get to all the other things later. Step one, when you explain why did you become a Muslim, for however long it takes until they understand why, you explain who Allah is to them. Focus on that, because they think, oh, you've gone and you're following a false prophet or you're following a false religion. Don't even mention anything else other than Allah in the beginning stages. The next stage that you talk about is the prophethood. Then you speak about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You compare and explain his role and what he did. Then you can deal with issues about Islam, like jihad, because that's going to be the next hot topic. Explain to them what it meant. Clothing, why your clothing has changed and why you dress the way you do. Common questions that often are asked about Muslims. You can download Dr. Zakir Naik's one. You can order the book from Dr. Zakir Naik from the Islamic Research Foundation, where he deals with common questions asked of Muslims. Very, very good book to have. An essential part of all people who have just embraced Islam's collection. Dr. Bilal Phillips has a series on how to do dawah. You can get that, download that, that is important. So all revert, what you need to have before you go speak to your parents and you tell your parents and your family and your friends, 2 important pieces of equipment, outside obviously your knowledge that you need to know about Islam, is Dr. Zakir Naik's book on common questions, or the document, and Dr. Bilal Phillips' book on how to do dawah. This will be very successful and help you in how to present Islam to your family and friends. Well, that's all the time we have for today, and inshallah we will meet again next time. So from me, Arib Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.